for you. Otherwise, keep the head in neutral. And I define neutral as the most amount of peace in your spine. So that could be looking straight ahead rather than up at the head. You could even think about the heart, another energy gateway up to the heavens. Two more breaths, slight rotation in the hips. Beautiful. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture, down through the midline. We haven't done this movement before, so I'll walk you through it. And you may have done this movement through Tai Chi, and this is also a nice martial arts practice. So the left hand is sweeping behind the elbow here. As the right hand descends down through the midline, the left hand travels up to about face height. And we're looking at the Lagao point here, an energy point, another energy gateway, one of the most powerful signatures in the body. And we're setting our gaze right over the top of the middle finger. The hand down the midline is releasing trapped and stagnant energy. Then the hand comes behind the elbow to the other side. As the hand comes down the midline, we look at the hand at face height. Deep bend in the elbow. And now see if you can move with the flow. Both hands at play, moving through thick air, going quite slowly. Begin to set your gaze at the leading hand at the face. If you get lost, just come back to perhaps one hand. Developing neural pathways. It's like learning a language when we learn new movements. So congratulate yourself for taking on this challenge. It'd be frustrating. And then as you find this flow, you can step out a little bit wider and come down deeper into the squat and wind yourself back up and back down. Following the leading hand. Hand comes down through the midline, the opposite hand comes to face level. And coming up in a clearing gesture, once more the hands come down the midline. Hands descend down to the earth and back behind us. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. I'll face this way so you perhaps get a better sense of the movement. Hands come forward. Exhaling, hands come back. So, similar practice to how we started with Mary Jo. Slight variation with the hands now coming forward on the inhale. Exhaling, I invite you to come up off the heels. It's a fine pose to keep the feet flat on the earth. Otherwise, coming up on the heels, extend up through the crown of the head. Feet touch back down as the hands come forward on the inhale. Exhale, hands travel back behind us, grow long out through crown of head as the heels rise. As we come forward now, I invite you to raise the toes. Spread toes wide, spread fingers wide. Exhaling, heels rise. Tai Chi opening, bending deeply at the wrists. Inhaling, toes rise. Exhaling, heels rise. So we bring that quality of the meditation, of the seated or the standing meditation, into our flow, becoming aware of sensations in the body, perhaps even becoming aware of awareness itself. Noticing the natural function of the mind is to produce thought. So thoughts are running, just notice those and perhaps send them to the back of the line. Toes rise, heels rise. Wonderful. Hands come up in a clearing gesture down through the midline, about an inch apart. Wonderful. As we take the hands and interlace them behind the back of the head, elbows spread wide. As we come into a a squat. So we're bending deeply at the knees and the elbows come together, chin draws into chest. Inhaling as we lengthen through the eyes of the palm up to the heavens, option to look straight ahead or up at the hands. Bending at the knees, the hands come back to the back of the head, elbows come together as you draw the chin into the chest. Standing long, up through the crown of the head and down through the foundation, the roots of our feet, the eyes of the soul's an energy gateway into the earth. Exhaling, elbows come together, chin energetically tucks into chest. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So we look up at the hands, perhaps as an option if that's available for you today. Try drawing the elbows together and then extending the arms long, two strong straight arms. Engage the abdominals, lengthen through all the fascia. One sheet of fascia from tongue to toes to fingertips. So we develop these healthy muscle patterns, breaking habitual patterns that we may have been conditioned with. The body finds the path of least resistance, and it's not always the correct path. These movements help come back into healthy movement patterns in the body as we release. Option to take the hands now, backs of hands come together and then come out and around. To come into the full expression of the movement, take the feet out a little bit wider and bend deeply at the knees. Hands come out to the far horizons, the eyes of the palms out to the far horizons, gathering energy, and then the backs of the hands travel and then up into the heavens. Fireworks is this the name of this movement. Last one. As we take both arms, I'll mirror you, out to the left. Take the front hand across the chest and point the first finger and see if you can set your gaze in a deep stance, in goddess stance. Slight tuck of the pelvis, grow long from the tailbone out through crown of head. So we set our focus right over the top of the first finger. Moving to the other side, both arms sweep over to the right. Draw an imaginary bow across the heart as we set our focus right at the top of the first finger. Moving gracefully to the other side. Imaginary bow drawn across the heart. There's no hurry. Come back to a point of focus, a single point of focus right above the top of the first finger for a moment of clarity, a moment of stillness. Moving to the other side. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, gathering energy, a yang practice, energy, male energy through the back body, increasing vitality in the body. We think of the yin in the front of the body when we hold our emotions. So we're working with a sea of yang in the back body. Last one. Bow pose or archer. Both hands come up in a clearing gesture up to the heavens and slowly down through the midline. As the hands come to the top of the iliac crest, right at the hips, a couple of nice hip circles, releasing any tension in the lower back and hips. Feel the thumbs into the sacroiliac joint, the SI joint, and then draw the thumbs into that joint forward. It's perhaps in the lower back there, right above the hip bones. The SI joint's a little bit deeper into the pelvis. Perhaps even closing the eyes and imagine that you're drawing a circle with your tailbone between your feet. And then in the opposite direction a few times. It's interesting, they interviewed Moshe Feldenkrais, the founder of Feldenkrais, and they were asking him about some things for chronic pain, how he handles chronic pain. He says, look, it's not the lack of movement in the body, it's the lack of variety of movement. The wonderful benefits of both the yoga, and often when we hold poses in yoga, we go into this slow twitch muscle response for strengthening. In Qigong, we keep this effortless flow, which is wonderful for agility. It's a fast twitch muscle response. We get this wonderful benefit of a variety of movement. So the hands come up once more in a clearing gesture. And the hands come back to the top of the hips, and I'll face this way so you get a better sense of the movement. Bending from the hips, slight bend in the knees. Keep the back nice and straight. As we bend from the hips, the head goes no lower than the heart. Energetically tuck chin into chest. Standing tall, unfurl each of the 7 vertebrae of the cervical spine very slowly. Chin elevates up to the heavens. Bending from the hips, nice straight back, rather than bending from the mid-back. Bend from the hips. Chin into chest and holding for a bandha, a moment of stillness. And then as we stand tall, we release the neck. Wonderful exercise for articulating the cervical and thoracicals and the upper thoracic spine. Bending from the hips, energetically tuck chin to chest. Turtle drink. We draw inspiration from the animal kingdom. Turtle being the symbol of longevity. The wonderful practices of Qigong is something that we can do through all our life. Really one of the fabulous benefits, because we're moving with ease. We're putting a lot of strain on the joint. We're not using the force of the muscles, but we are developing strength. Leg strength in our squats, keeping the heart healthy through all the motion of the arms. Of course, the spine. Youth is in the spine, we believe. So anytime we get to articulate the spine, especially through areas in the body that we may be noticing that don't get articulated, that we're quite rigid in, notice where you're bending from in the spine. In this case, we're bending from the hips, but then notice where you're bending from. You're bending from the mid-back, from the neck. Bring your awareness to where you're bending from in the spine. You tuck the chin energetically into the chest, holding for a moment, standing tall. One more time. Hands come up in a clearing gesture, releasing that last movement. As we take the thumb to middle finger, this is a very nice meditative practice here. All these are moving meditations, if you will. The right hand descends down through the midline, while the left hand stays at shoulder height, releasing trapped and stagnant energy. As the hand comes to shoulder height, thumb meets middle finger. The opposite hand comes down through the midline. As the hand stays at shoulder height, the opposite arm stays at shoulder height. Yeah, if you get lost, just come back to using one arm. The arm stays at shoulder height as the opposite hand comes down, releasing trapped and stagnant energy. Think about the eye of the palm releasing stagnant energy, the root of all disease. Think of all our blockages in our arteries, trapped, stagnant energy. as we thank the heart for all the work it does. It beats 100,000 beats approximately a day. Chi smoothing, smoothing the energy within us, coming back to that sense of inner calm. Arm stays up at shoulder height, thumb to middle finger as the hand comes down through the midline. Last one. Hands come up in a clearing gesture once more. About an inch apart from each other, down very slowly through the midline. Back to centering. As we come into taking the hands together and beginning to take the arms away from the body to the midline, up to the heart, then to the face, bending at the elbows and then straightening the elbows, coming up onto the heels as an option, otherwise keeping feet on the earth, slowly come back down. Begin to make large circles with two straightish arms. There's a slight bend at the elbow. Hands come to the face, in front of the heart, down nice and low, bending at the knees, making perhaps larger figure eights. Imagine that you're making this large figure eight. Swimming dragon is the name of this sequence. Hands come up in front to the heart. And then as they come to the face, we spiral up onto the heels and then release down as we begin the movement once more, making circles, two straightish arms, down towards the head level, heart level, making large circles down to the earth, releasing any tension in the lower back and hips. Coming back up through swimming dragon, up onto the hips, and release. Bending at the knees, large figure eights, coming up through the midline, arms extend out in front and then slowly spiraling up on the heels and release. Arms come back down through the midline. So we come to a balance exercise, coming to placing the weight on your right leg. Nice firm foundation, slight bend at the knee. As we begin to either keep the left foot on the earth, coming up on the ball of the foot so the heel is raised. The arms come up about shoulder height. We're bending at the elbows and wrists. Option to raise the leg now off the earth, and we're moving and pulsing. One of the energies that we draw upon in Qigong is this sense of pulsing through the body. Set a focus, perhaps at the horizon line. Steady mind, steady body. Single leg crane. Again, option to keep the foot on the earth. That's a fine pose too. I applaud you for knowing your own bodies. Moving gracefully to the other side. As the foot touches down, we raise the right leg. Coming back to the breath. Breathe a nourishing breath through the tip of the nose. Release any tension in the shoulders. Notice what's happening in the shoulders. Are they tense? Are they shrugged up to the ears? See if you can find that sense of grace, that sense of effortless power. So we move like water. We'll mirror the brocade today, the 8 movements. We're doing 8. Beautiful. Both hands now come up in a clearing gesture, once more down through the midline. Now, as the hands come to the heart, the palms face up and come forward, out to the side and up to the heavens, slowly back down, about an inch apart from each other as the hands come to the heart, an offering at the temple. You can think of these actions in Qigong as mirroring the movements in our life and perhaps helping to inform our actions, using the body's own intelligence as we come out of the busy mind. Can we listen to the body's intelligence and know when to accept and when to offer, when to receive and when to give? Drawing the shoulder blades back and down anatomically. That's the conceptual part. See if you come into the perceptual part, the sensations in the body, just noticing where things are happening in the body. Mind's natural function again is to produce thought. Just tell those thoughts to go back to the back of the line or the cue. You're focusing now on your breath and this movement. Wonderful. As we draw the knees together, thumb and middle finger come together. Again, thumb and middle finger come together. As we join the knees together and the arms are extended at shoulder height. This is called penguin. We draw inspiration from the penguins. Making a firm fist down. Making a firm fist up. Spread fingers wide, eagle claw. And then extend out to the far horizons and stand tall. Once more, bending deeply at the knees. Knees come together. Make a firm fist down. Firm fist up. Spread fingers wide. Exhale, release. Doing 7. Making a firm fist down. Firm fist up. Spread fingers wide and release. That's 3. Inhaling. Holding. Exhaling as we release out to the far horizons. 4. Firm fist down, firm fist up, spread fingers wide, exhale, release. 5. Inhaling, firm fist down and hold. Pause for a moment of stillness, spread fingers wide, exhale, out to the far horizons. 6. Last one. Make a firm fist down, firm fist up, spread fingers wide, eagle claw, exhale and release. Wonderful. And just relax the shoulders. I've just done a lot of work, the arms and shoulders. So I invite you to shrug the shoulders now, rolling them forward and back. I think we have time for one more. And it's a wonderful way in which we can release all the tension in the body, all the tension of the week, the tension in the mind. As we let go, we're just bending deeply at the arms and the knees. Exhaling as we come down. Inhaling as we come up. Excuse me, let it go. Option now as we come up, raising the heels and tapping them onto the earth. As we bend deeply at the knees, releasing through the body. And then slow it down as the moves become more gradual, less big. Imagine the arms now just moving very gently as you close the eyes. Think of the arms moving and blowing in the wind. Reeds of a bamboo blowing in a warm tropical breeze. As you close the eyes, and the arms are just slightly moving, the wrists slightly moving as you come into stillness. And we'll end in Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Feet can be hip width, shoulder width apart. And just feel the sensations of the practice. Feel the rhythm of life pulsing within you. Start with the feet into the earth, the eyes of the soles of the feet. Everything we touch, feel, and experience is an aspect of ourselves. Spread toes wide, elevate the toes, and place the wide spread toes back down to earth. Engage the thigh muscles, so much so the kneecaps rise. Slightly turn the palms to face forward. Engaging the abdominals, lengthen all the way up through the spine and out through the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders back and down as we come into Tadasana, mountain pose. I am calm, I am strong. Slowly opening your eyes to a new moment. Hands come together at the heart. As we thank ourselves for taking this moment to nourish the mind and body, and all those that support our practice. Namaste. Thanks very much. Mary Jo, you want to come out and say goodbye to everybody? Okay, so we'll be back here at the same time next week. We really appreciate your support and joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening or the day.